she has successfully seduced a lot of God's people. Here's how I know this. Go to the next chapter, chapter 18, verse 4. Here you have this warning. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. It is possible to be one of God's people and still be swept up in her enchantments. In fact, I would say it is more than just possible. I would say it is what is happening to the majority of us. Here's why I say that. Studies show that our lifestyles as professing Christians look just like those of the world around us. We are just as sexually immoral inside the church as people are outside the church. We are just as self-centered as the world. We are just as materialistic. Our spending patterns are strikingly similar to those of the world around us. Only 6% of Bible-believing American Christians tithe. 6%. Now, here in the Summit Church, we're at 18% of us tithe, which is like 3 times as much. That still means 4 out of 5 of you have never learned to obey God in that area of your life. In parenting, the priorities of Christian parents for their kids look virtually identical to those of non-Christian parents for their kids. So we cart our kids all over town in the same way that non-Christian parents do, teaching our kids to be good at the same things the world says they should be good at, like sports and getting into the right college. And the effects are evident. 60 to 80% of our kids are going to leave Christianity behind once they hit 18 years old. You see, when you live with the values of this woman, you bring upon yourselves the plagues of this woman. You rob yourselves of God's blessing, and we rob ourselves of spiritual power. There's a guy I quote a lot, Charles Spurgeon, a 19th century British pastor. He's who I quote when I don't quote C.S. Lewis. I got to get one British guy in there somewhere. Charles Spurgeon said this: put your finger on any prosperous age in the church's history, when the church was really thriving, when the church was making a difference, and you'll find a little marginal note that says, in this age, people could readily see where the church began and where the world ended. We can hardly tell that today, which is why we are so powerless to affect and transform our culture. Another Christian leader says it like this: the greatest challenge facing Bible-believing American Christians is not persecution from the world, it is seduction by the world. So see, I would say this is an important question for you and your family. Are you more shaped by Babylon or the Bible? Who's the center of your life? I assume by the fact that you're in here is because you want God to be a part of your life. Have you ever come to God and said, you know, it's your car, I stole it. All that I have, all that I am, all that I ever hope to be belongs to you. This is your money, your resources. What do you want from my life? Who do you believe owns your stuff? Do you think that you own it and you give some of it generously to God, or you say you own all of it? You can tell by whether or not you're obedient in these various areas of your life. Whose glory are you living for? Whose will are you pursuing?